Japan Airlines is ranked as one of the best airlines in the world, and many people consider them to have some of the best economy seats of any long-haul airline. But how true is that? How would my experience differ from other people's? Well, join me today as I fly Japan Airlines for the first time from New York JFK to Tokyo Haneda to find out.
Oh wow, it looks so dark in the shot. Anyway, welcome everyone. My name's Michael, and welcome to my first ever narrated flight report. Now, if you guys like this kind of flight reports where I'm showing my face and narrating in the background, please let me know in the comments, and please make sure to like and subscribe the video for more videos like this. Now, with that said, back to the flight report.
We begin our journey by arriving at JFK Airport's Terminal 8, which is where JAL flies out of. Terminal 8 mainly serves American Airlines, but other international carriers like British Airways also use the terminal. First impressions, I thought the terminal was spacious, especially with the high ceiling, but looked kinda plain. Check-in took a bit of time since there was a long line already forming, but we were through within about 15 minutes. After check-in, we decided to get some breakfast. Security was also quick, only taking a few minutes, which really surprised me, especially being a Newark Airport local where security lines can be very long. By the way, at the time of me flying out, Newark Airport was an absolute chaos and people were actually advised to avoid the airport at all costs. The funny thing is that I booked this flight almost a year ago, not knowing that flying out of JFK would be the best option for me. We'd be departing out of gate 16. Unfortunately, this gate was in the back corner of the terminal with other gates in the way and no windows in some areas, so I couldn't get any good photos of our plane. At least at JFK Airport. But our aircraft flying us today is an Airbus A350-1000. Our flight number is JL5, scheduled for a 1:40 p.m. departure, and thankfully our flight looks to be on time. Some parts of the terminal look more like a construction site with all the false walls in some places. I'm guessing the area was going under some renovations, so right now some sections didn't look very nice. Japan Airlines does have a lounge here at JFK, but since I was a first-time flyer, I didn't have free access, and paid access to the lounge was very expensive. So I'll be getting my pre-flight snacks and drinks from the duty-free shop instead.
I also don't show my face or talk a lot in my videos, so I hope seeing my face and hearing my voice won't get annoying after a while.
About an hour later, boarding finally began. I was in boarding group 4, so it took me some time to get onto the plane.
Thank you. Kinda. Hello.
My seat for this flight was seat 54K. Now for the seat review. The amount of legroom was perfect. I didn't feel cramped at all in my seat. The tray table has a cup holder you can use without pulling down the entire tray. Every seat comes with a large blanket, a pillow, and a pair of headphones, though for the headphones, I brought my own. There was also Wi-Fi available, but to be able to use the internet would cost around $18 for the entire flight, or still a rather pricey $14 for only 3 hours of access. The armrest was decently sized, though it wasn't soft at the top. The seat only reclined a couple of inches, which was a bit less than I thought. Each seat also had a power outlet, and a large spacious tray table, which was also able to be folded halfway if you need more space in front of you. In the seat back pocket, there was also the airplane safety card, in-flight magazines, and an airstick bag. Alright, I can't talk too loud, but first impressions, it's compared to United, which I've traveled on a lot, it's definitely slightly comfier. Like, there's a lot more leg room. The seat width isn't as wider as I thought it would, but it's still rather comfy, so hopefully I could survive 14 hours on this flight. And soon after that, like really soon, boarding was finished and we were already pushing back. The flight crew said we were about 10 minutes behind schedule, but I didn't really notice.
Welcome on board. について説明しますので、必ずご覧ください. Please watch this safety video and familiarize yourself with the safety instructions. 荷物は近くの収納場所に入れます. All baggage must be stowed in the nearest storage.
The flight duration from New York to Haneda is just under 14 hours, which may be draining for an economy seat. It's definitely the longest flight I'll be spending in economy class. One cool thing about this plane is that there are cameras on the tail and underneath the belly, so you could see what it looks like on the outside. The delay was likely due to the rain outside, but soon enough we were in the air and through the clouds.
Also, please return your seat back, table, footrest, personal TV set, controller, and cup holder to their original positions. Passengers with their baby on their lap.
Soon after takeoff, the crew came around and handed a light snack and some sanitation wipes. The snacks were rice crackers, and as you can see by my facial reactions when I tried one, I didn't really like them that much. The screens on the seats were large and in high definition. However, I thought the selection of TV shows was a bit limiting, as a majority of the shows were all Japanese media, and I don't speak much Japanese. Thankfully, the movie selection was much larger and featured many more movies I was familiar with that were all dubbed in English. Of course, there was also a flight map, which showed information such as the time remaining in the flight, and also featured a cool 3D model of our plane. There was also a few magazines, again, mostly in Japanese, but also pages showing JAL's route network and aircraft fleet.
I find it interesting that Japanese books are printed pretty much the opposite way than Western books. It's kind of like I'm reading backwards.
Later, the main meal was finally served. There were two options. I got the beef and rice, which also came with a salad, some noodles, some pieces of fruit, and another side with egg in it. I can't remember what it's called. After eating it, I thought the meal was decent overall, but I've had worse on other airlines. After dinner, the flight attendants handed us some ice cream, which was also completely frozen. I mean, look at this, I couldn't even get my spoon into it. The restrooms all varied by size depending on where on the plane they were. This one was mostly clean overall, and all of them even had Japanese-style bidet toilets. Amazing. As you can see here, I had a bit of trouble getting some water to come out the sink, but there were buttons on the top of the faucet to adjust the temperature. Since the flight was a long 14 hours, and we were flying west following the sun, the lights were then turned off to allow the passengers to get some rest comfortably. I personally don't sleep too well on planes, but I still managed to get at least 4 hours of sleep. When the lights were back on, the crew handed out a small snack, being a blueberry loaf, which kinda looked like a stretch-out muffin, but it still tasted good regardless. As we were getting close to Japan, the crew handed out a second meal. I got a chicken dish with pasta on the side, which also came with a small salad and a strawberry yogurt. It wasn't anything amazing, but it was decent airplane food overall. And soon after that, we were finally reaching Tokyo. Luckily, today we'd be landing on the runway that faces towards Tokyo, giving us some amazing views of this giant metropolis. I'll be making another video showing off the full takeoff and landing from this trip, so be sure to check that out when I eventually upload it, or if it's already up by the time you're watching this, please be sure to check it out after this. So now you're probably wondering, how much did this flight cost me? Well, the price varies depending on the time of the year, how long in advance you book, and the type of seat you get. This flight was in May of 2025, and I booked this flight well in advance in July of the year before. When I booked, the price of my economy seat from New York JFK to Tokyo Haneda was $615 USD one way. I must have gotten very lucky when we looked, because compared to most other airlines, that isn't too pricey for a flight to Japan from the Northeast US. But now, what did I think about Japan Airlines? Well, I thought it just felt like any other airline. The legroom was great, but the food was just decent. The crew was very friendly, and I liked that we left quickly after we boarded. Even if I sat in a larger seat like in business class, the seat size would really be the only difference. Overall, I would say that my first flight on Japan Airlines was a great first experience, and I would highly recommend you try them out when flying to Japan. How my return flight went, well, that's a video for another time. Anyways, welcome to Japan. The landing was a bit rough. After we touched down, the pilot seemed to have slammed on the brakes as it felt like we were slowing down very quickly. As we deplane, I get a quick look at the first class seats, and man, do I wish I could be able to sit in one of these seats one day. One day. Right, now off to customs, which ended up taking a little longer than I thought, and off to grab a taxi to my hotel.
And I made it to my hotel, which marks the end of this video. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this flight report video. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Be on the lookout for all my upcoming videos from my 2025 Japan trip. So I'm about to go enjoy my vacation, and I'll see you all next time.